Hello, welcome back. We've got a mixed operations problem for you today, mixing multiplication with addition. It's 3 plus 7 times 3 plus 7. All right, so 3 plus 7 times 3 plus 7. If you want to, you can pause the video and we will come back and work this one out together. It's fairly simple. You might already have the answer. We're going to find out in a second. All right. Hopefully you remember your order of operations. Okay, step number one is to look for parentheses. Oh, well, we don't have any. But if we did, you would solve anything inside of those parentheses first according to the order of operations. Well, what is that? What would we look for next? Well, we would look for exponents, well, actually, we would look for exponents. We could look for factorials. If you know what factorials are, they use the exclamation mark. Square roots. Basically, step two is anything that is shorthand for repeated multiplication. Well, that exponents definitely fits in that category, so do factorials and square roots. But again, we don't have anything. We don't have any parentheses. We don't have any of those exponents. So what do? We just ignore the order of operations? Well, no, we don't. You just move on to the next step. You move on to multiplication or division, left to right. Remember, multiplication and division have equal precedence. So I know a lot of people memorized acronyms like PEMDAS and BODMAS, but a lot of people are really confused over those because they think that multiplication comes before division, or if they learn BODMAS, they think division comes before multiplication because they're simply memorizing the order of 6 letters, but they don't realize that multiplication and division have equal precedence. All right, step four would be your addition and subtraction. And again, addition and subtraction also have equal precedence. But again, I did say multiplication is repeated addition. So the first operation in this problem is actually the 7 times 3. And I know a lot of people who are going to say, well, you read a sentence left to right, so you would solve left to right. But again, and I'll say it again, multiplication is repeated addition. No parentheses are required to give multiplication precedence over addition. Um, 7 times 3 is 21. 3 plus 21 is 24. 24 plus 7 is 31. The correct answer is 31. So again, like I said, step four, addition and subtraction. Um, I have some proof of that to try to explain why you would do that multiplication first. And remember what I said, and I'll say it again because this sometimes doesn't sink in. Multiplication is shorthand for repeated addition. 7 times 3 is the same thing as adding 7 3 times. There's no difference. There's absolutely no difference between me writing 3 plus 7 times 3 plus 7 or 3 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. That still equals 31. There's no difference. And again, that's what multiplication is. It's just a shorthand. There's no difference. These two are identical to each other, all right? Now, a lot of people are still going, well, I used my calculator that I bought at the dollar store, and it told me the answer was 37. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people do not understand the input methods of calculators and how they work. If you're using a cell phone calculator, a scientific calculator, this is coming from a Windows computer. It's the same application. It's the Windows calculator application. The only difference is, in this case, it's in scientific mode. In this case, it's in standard mode. In scientific mode, this works in what's known as expression mode. You can type the entire expression, 3 plus 7 times 3 plus 7, hit the equal sign, and you get the correct answer of 31. What happens here is that when you're using a standard mode calculator or one of your cheap dollar store calculators, a lot of times those calculators do not work in expression mode. They use what's called immediate execution mode. It basically executes every operation as they're entered. It doesn't mean that the correct answer is 37. It means you need to understand how to enter this type of an expression into this type of a calculator. And what you need to do if you're using one of those cheapo calculators or you're using this Windows calculator in standard mode, you manually have to multiply 7 times 3 before you add 3 and before you add 7. That's all that means. That doesn't mean that your calculator gave you the correct answer of 37. You need to understand your calculator and how to use it properly. You need to understand immediate execution mode versus expression mode. You can all look this stuff up online very easily, so you don't have to take my word for it. It's all there. Um, Again, the answer was never 37 back in your day. I hear that all the time. That, well, this new math, it's all woke math, et cetera, et cetera. It's a common excuse when people forget what they were taught decades ago. It's just the truth. And here's a collection of old textbooks to back this up. The order of operations is centuries old in Western civilization. The roots of it go all the way back into like the 16th century. And it even goes beyond that. I mean, if you look at the formula for the area of a circle, exponents have precedence over multiplication. A equals pi r squared. There's no parentheses in pi r squared, yet you solve the r squared before you multiply by pi. Well, gee, you're not going left to right in that, are you? So here's a 1950s textbook, okay? So it's pretty darn clear. 5 plus 3 times 2. Guess what? The answer is 11. Why? Because you solve the multiplication first. First, it says right here, mathematicians have agreed on a rule to fall back on if someone omits punctuation marks, and they mean parentheses when they're talking about punctuation marks. The rule gives the order to be followed by performing the operations indicated in the expression. The agreement applies, for example, that, and then it goes through and gives you all these examples. It says, you perform the multiplication and division in order from left to right. Then finally, the addition and subtractions in order from left to right. So you do that whenever you don't have parentheses. That's from a 1950s textbook, okay? Here's a 1920s textbook. It's very clear in here as well. They give this example, 12 minus 10 divided by 2. It says, thus, 12 minus 10 divided by 2 indicates that 10 is to be divided by 2, and the quotient is to be subtracted from 12. This gives 7 as a result. And in a second example, they use 4 plus 6 times 3. 4 plus 6 times 3 indicates that 3 times 6 are to be added to 4, which gives 22. 6 times 3 act as if in a parentheses. All right? And a parenthesis. So multiplication has precedence over addition and subtraction. Division and multiplication have precedence. Here's a 1913 textbook. Please don't be confused because it says algebra at the top. The order of operations convention applies to algebraic and non-algebraic equations and expressions. But right here it says the fundamental operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Indicated operations are to be performed in the following order. First, all multiplications and divisions in their order from left to right, then all addition and subtractions from left to right. So, I see a lot of arguing, a lot of people assuming that, why would you start in the middle, et cetera, et cetera. It's really the way it's always worked. A lot of people just forget. So I'm hoping that, I'm hoping you got the correct answer in this case of 31. If not, please review the order of operations. I got plenty of videos that go into a lot more detail. They talk about the acronyms PEMDAS, BODMAS, BEDMAS, BIDMAS, etc. There's plenty of practice problems that you can check out as well. Um, if you like this video at all, please like, share, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, I'm sure you'll let me know as well. So thanks again. Hope to see you in the next video.